Welcome to BODS Mayhem Hour, your source for all hard rock, heavy metal, new metal, alternative, punk, horror punk, hardcore, rock, and all local bands, with your host, John the Bod, aka the Bodfather.
Hey everybody, welcome to BODS Mayhem Hour. I'm your host, John the Bod, aka the Bodfather, and as always, I bring you guys awesome interviews. Today it is an honor and privilege to have back on the show with me, Stef with an F. She is the vocalist of City of the Week. They hail from Minneapolis, Minnesota. Their first full-length album, produced by Craig Owens, will be available in June. So you want to pick that up from these guys and gals because they put on a good show and they have some great music out. And they have a new single, a cover of Incubus's Pardon Me, and that is very, very good. They did a really good job of covering that song. And they have an upcoming tour that kicks off this Saturday, Turn It to 11 tour, which will have Echo Black, The Scars, Heal in Time, and In Loving Memory. So, Stef, how's it going?
It's going well. Right now we're just kind of prepping and getting ready to leave Thursday morning for North Carolina. It's quite a drive, so I want to give us a couple days to get there, so we don't, just in case we have any car trouble or anything.
There you go. Hey, that's you're thinking way ahead of things. That's a good deal. And that sucks too. I see a lot of bands go through that shit. You know, they trek out like a day before the show and they have all kinds of car trouble and stuff, and that sucks.
Oh yeah, we're no strangers to the whole breaking down on tour thing, but we've been really responsible lately and been getting our van in the shop before every single tour. And so we have new axles and new tires, and so hopefully that'll set us through. It'll probably be like the dumbest little thing that'll break, the one thing that we didn't replace, you know, so gotta stay prepared.
Now let's jump right into this. You guys have several EPs out, White Fire Alarm, Disclosure, and you have singles, Censor This and Ungrateful. Are any of these songs on these singles or EPs going to be on this debut album that's getting ready to come out in June from you guys?
Yeah, Censor This and Ungrateful will both be on the new record. And we didn't put any of the old stuff on it. We wanted to kind of a new chapter in City of the Week, and we started releasing singles. It was October 2016, I believe, we released Censor This, and then Ungrateful was about a year ago. And then we were going to release the record last year, but we just decided we needed a little more time to gear up for it and get the right publicity behind it and, you know, tour on what we were doing last year. And I feel prepared to finally put it out and, you know, just do our thing.
That's my next question. You know, how exciting is it for you guys to know where you guys came from, busting your ass, you know, touring, EPs and studio time to finally have an album that's, you know, your full length coming out?
I mean, it feels really great. I mean, it's been a long time coming. We had it finished for about a year, and so we were just kind of sitting on it, which is not a good thing to do on this day and age, but we just felt, you know, every time we went to go release it, we're like, this is the time, we're going to do it, because we did main stage on the festivals last year, so we wanted it out for those festivals, but we just didn't have, when you're an independent band, everything kind of falls on you. You have to hire out your entire team, and so we just didn't have enough time for us to hire an entire team, give them 8 weeks with it as like a lead up, and then put it out. We just were like always scrambling because we still do everything ourselves when it comes to like booking and advancing our shows. We do hire out like publicity, we have management, so it's a lot of work, and so I feel now we're finally prepared and we can actually get it out, and it feels amazing. I cannot wait for this to come out.
And plus, too, you know, that says a lot for, you know, these festivals to say, hey, we're going to put City of the Week on the main stage to see where you guys came from.
I know. Whose dumb idea was that? I don't know. It's awesome. We were flattered. We couldn't believe it. I still can't believe it. I still feel like we are not qualified for that, but, I mean, somebody does, and I think that's amazing.
Well, I mean, I'm not saying it's just because you're on here and I like your guys' music, but you guys deserve to be on the main stage, and there's others that deserve to be on the main stage as well, and you guys bust your ass off for this, so it shows.
Well, thank you. I think the biggest thing for me that entire weekend, because festival weekend is just crazy. We've done a few of them over the years. Every year we have about 2 or 3 every single year. And this past year, I mean, we're like, this is serious. It's main stage. We have to hire a crew, photographer, videographer, like get everything together and do all the media. And we were on the stage and we did our thing and we got off and we were like, it's always such a full day because we literally talk to every single media person that's there. So we spend all day in interviews. We do about 3-hour meet and greets because the lines are so long, and we talk to every single person. And I check my phone at some point during the day. I'm like, man, because you have to coordinate with press when you're there. And I got a text from one of the festival organizers, one of the gals working, who was kind of coordinating backstage, and she said something like, you really make my job and all of this stress and all of the bullshit completely worth it. And it was a picture of me on stage. And it really, like, I just had to sit down for a second. It was really like, no, I was like, thank you for the opportunity. Like, you guys make it worth it for us,
Well, it pays off. It comes back full circle for what you give to the fans. And, I have nothing but respect for the bands who sit and they talk to each and every single fan who line up to see them, because I'm not trying to be an ass or anything, but the fans is what put bands there, That's your lifeline.
Yeah, of course.
Any songs off this new album that's getting ready to come out are sticking out more to you on, if possible? What can we look forward to?
Yeah, we actually just filmed a music video this past week. And the single, like the release single with it's going to come out probably a week or two before the release in June. So we're putting it together right now. We've only filmed about half the music video. We haven't finished it. So like all we have left is pretty much like some of the storyline shots. We went big on this one. So it's just going to take a little bit of time to film. But when we get back from tour, we already have everything set up, and hopefully it'll get done really quickly and we can show it to the world.
How was working with producer Craig Owens on this album? Did he push you guys really hard and to step in when he wanted to, or did he just let you do your own thing?
Both, actually. He pushed us so hard, but he pushed us to be ourselves, and it was like the best experience I've ever had in my life working with anybody. He's such a genius, and he's so amazing, and he's always been one of my biggest idols. Ever since I formed this band, I remember finding out who Chiodos was, and I just really resonated with any of his work, anything that he's ever done, from Chiodos to Bad Channels to his little grindcore project that he showed us to his acoustic stuff. Like, he can do it all, and I think there's something about somebody like that who can literally do any style, do anything, but still have this. It's still him, and it still works for him, and it still is really, really amazing, and his voice and his character shines through, and there's not many people out there that are like that, and so it was really, really special that we got to work with him, and I'm really flattered that he actually chose our project, because he doesn't say yes to that many people. He only says yes to the projects that he's passionate about, so it really meant the world that he took his time to work with us, and Jordan DeSorbo, who engineered the project and mixed it as well. So hopefully we can use them again for the next record. I'd love to work with them. So yeah, I think you'll definitely hear, their artistic integrity on the new record and hear how much we've grown.
I thought this is really cool of you guys covering Incubus's song Pardon Me. I absolutely loved that song when I was in high school when it came out. I thought it was a different style and a different fresh breath air for music, at that time. What was it for you guys to say, we want to cover this song?
I mean, every tour that we go out on, we try and fit in a cover, but we always try and go beyond like the basics, like, Crazy Train or Enter Sandman. Like, everybody's doing this. I could do those songs in pep band in high school. We wanted to do something that was everybody would still know, obviously, but, we try and pick different eras. We did Call Me by Blondie. We did No One Knows by Queens of the Stone Age. Like, we always pick different eras, different artists, different kinds of music. We want to be versatile, and we want to be able to take anything from any era, any genre, and really make it our own, and yet still, getting the message across from the original. Obviously, we love Incubus, and we love the original so much. We've been getting some comments like, oh, why did you try and mess with the original? The original wasn't good enough for you? It's like, no, we love the original so much that we wanted to put our own twist on it and make it our own. And the message of it's amazing. I think it's more relevant today than it was back then. And I think it's a message that people need to hear. And with all the political unrest around the world and the chaos of technology and social media, and I think it's really fitting. And it actually turned out better than we thought it was going to turn out. We went in just kind of, we're like, let's do our thing. And we ended up being in the studio for a couple days straight, just working more guitar layers, more parts, more, instead of having the turntables, adding our own guitar effects for it. So yeah, I mean, I'm really in love with how it turned out.
There are other bands. There's two other bands that actually impressed me with covers that they did. Plus, you guys with Incubus's cover of "Pardon Me," I thought was really tremendously. Like I said a while ago, Gus G, a former guitarist of Ozzy Osbourne, they covered Dire Straits' "Money for Nothing," and it's pretty badass. And then you have Bad Wolves, who just covered the Cranberries song. So I mean, these three songs are pretty epic in my vocabulary of music, from the different genres and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Do you guys do anything differently during the writing and recording process, to help keep your minds open and fresh, to not let the music get stale? Because I know at some points it does kind of. So do you guys do anything differently to not let that happen?
I mean, our first two records, we were really young when we wrote them. And so we would just kind of jam in the room, doing the whole play our instruments and whatever sounds good, let's do our thing. And then, our third time around, our first full length, we were like, let's try something different. Let's hear what we're doing. And we demoed everything out, and we just kind of took our time on this one. I mean, we started writing it, I want to say late 2015 is when we started writing it. And we just try and stay inspired. We get out and we, live our lives, and we try not to stay cooped up. Obviously, a big part of inspiration is going out and seeing the world and talking with people and learning about their experiences. I feel like as artists, it's our job to stay open-minded, and it's our job to see how other people live and see how we can relate to them and what we know best that relates to other people. And that's why I'm proud of the lyrical content that we have, because I'm always reaching to see other people's experiences and bring them to light. And maybe they're not the prettiest subjects, but on our second record that we did, there was a song called Mannerisms, and it's about child abuse that people don't really talk about. And sometimes people know that it goes on, whether it's emotional abuse or physical abuse, and just trying to bring it to light. Even though people don't necessarily talk about it, it does happen. And if you see something or wonder, say something, because it could save somebody's life.
Exactly. And a lot of people are too scared to say anything.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And so, when we're in the studio, I don't want to lie and say it never gets stale, but yeah, there's times when we're sitting at staring at the walls for days at a time. There are songs that have literally taken me months, because every time I sit down with it, it's like I had such a great verse, or you heard that chorus and it just hit, but then it's the rest of it just, you have to rewrite, and nothing really clicks. So there's other songs that literally the second I hear a riff from one of the guys, it's a done deal. So it's, but like I said, there's other times where I'm literally staring at the wall for weeks at a time and I don't get a single lyric written. And then obviously you kind of feel like a failure at that point, but it's all worth it when it's all done and you look back and you say, holy shit, I created some art, Yeah,
it don't happen overnight. You wish that it would. Sometimes you catch a lightning in the bottle, but
yeah.
It's very hard, I can imagine. What do you hope folks take away from the new album once they start listening to it, or just City of the Week's music in general when they first start listening to your guys' music, possibly?
That's a really, really great question. I'm so glad you asked that. I want people to think, and I want people to be passionate about something, and every single song on this new record, it's a really good continuation of our old stuff, yet still brings a fresh new outlook on things. And I want people to get passionate about something, and I want people to get out, and I want people to make a change, whatever it may be that they're passionate about. I want them to go and do it. And I want people to live their lives. I can't talk clearly. I want people to go live their lives to the fullest potential and do something. I just don't like seeing people, come up to our merch table and they're unhappy with their job. And it's well, let's do something about it, and let's I love hearing when people say, like, I hate my job and I go to work every morning and I listen to your music and it's awesome. I feel like I just want to tell my boss to F off, and like, it's like, well, do it then, like whatever, what are you passionate about? Like, what is holding you back? If you don't like your job, you're wasting half your life at a job that you hate. So go and do something, even if you have to live in a van or join the Peace Corps. I mean, who cares? Like, your success, it should be up to you and nobody else. Don't let anybody hold anything above your head or tell you that you're not successful because you don't have money. I mean, I live in a van half the year. I don't have money. I create art and I live off like $5 to $10 a day, which is clearly not enough, but I'm really happy and I do what I love. And I hope that resonates with other people.
I just want to hit the lottery and I'll be happy.
Right? I mean, we all would. Yeah.
I know the feeling, man. I go to work every day and I cringe. I have to fight myself to go to work. This is my passion. Music is my passion. And I do technical support for my real job. And it just, you have no idea. And I just, people can't connect to the internet or their TV service is not working. They bitch you out for it. I'm like, well, it's not my fault.
Well, totally.
Yeah.
Well, find something that you love. If you're into tech support, that's your thing, or technology, if you're good at that, there's got to be other stuff out there for you.
Yeah, music's my passion. I want to get more involved with music that I love and cover. You know what I mean? Especially helping.
Totally, absolutely.
Especially helping local bands and bands that are coming up like you guys. I love being in the middle of that and help pushing to be a little voice for each and every single person like that. So that's where my passion is. This is why I do this.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Thank you for everything that you do for bands like us.
Yeah, I mean, it's totally worth it, man, just to see the joy when you play their music or talk to them. That's where the payment comes in, folks, is when you get to shake these people's hands and see them blossom as a band and stuff like that. That's where my payment comes in at. There you go.
Oh, that's great.
I've seen you guys before, but what can fans expect at a show from City of the Week who have not got to see you guys live as of yet?
Yeah, they can expect a really great show. We spend lots of time honing our craft in to make it really, really tight and really precise, and they should expect a really fun time. We love hanging out after the show. That's like the biggest, funnest part of tour for us is after the show, going to the merch table, hanging out, and then going to the bar and doing shots and hanging out and hearing people's stories and hearing what they've been up to. And the other bands are great. We always are very, very close with the bands that we tour with, and let's just have some fun. Come out. I mean, like, the best part about us is our live show, like, hands down. Our music, our recorded music doesn't do our live show justice. I mean, you just can't capture sometimes just live music.
Exactly. I understand that completely. Stef, support-wise, is there a country or a location that stands out more or surprises you? You guys get support from that area that you've noticed so far?
We have like little hot spots around the country that we will do really, really well, and there's other spots that we just kind of avoid now because we just really don't do well. But there's so many factors, whether it be venues that are really popular. Some cities have these venues where people it's like a hangout, and like all the local musicians will come. Anytime there's a show, they'll come out. People want to go to, they're friends with the owner. There's some places will always play a packed show. I think Idaho was the one, and just Idaho in general always seems to shock me. It's like every show we play there's, at least, I want to say like 75 people. And which for Idaho, like our first time in Idaho was like, what the hell? Like our first time, I believe there was like 130, 140. And I was like, what is going on? Like Idaho, who would have thought? And then the next time we came back, it was like it was Jerome, Idaho, I want to say. There was over 100 people there too. Another city, I can't remember what it was. It was like 75, 80. I'm like, this is like our first time playing all of these cities. Like, what is going on? But I think people just get really excited when somebody comes through because they probably just don't get a whole lot of music.
Yeah.
We do well in Kansas City. We do well in anywhere in Wisconsin, I would say. Florida is probably the biggest shocker, but I think Florida just has a really supportive scene.
Hopefully you guys will be at Louder Than Life this year in Louisville, Kentucky.
Yeah, I wish we could play that one. We just have never been booked for it.
What made you want to become a musician? What was that spark for you that said, I want to do that? I want to be a musician?
I mean, art has always kind of been in my blood. I mean, when I was a kid, I remember being in kindergarten, and, you know, kindergarten is like you do the worksheet all together, and I was so bored when I was younger, like in school. Like, I would always test out of everything, and I'm from a small town, so they didn't really have anything like more advanced classes. And so my teacher, she was so cool. Her name was Mrs. Lindquist, and she let me sit in the corner by myself while all the rest of the class did their worksheets together and did their lessons. And I was able to sit and write books. Like, I literally had these books that I made. Like, I would write the story out in like pen or pencil or whatever, and then I would illustrate this entire book and then use like yarn, a hole puncher and yarn, and like bind it together, and then use like construction, like color construction paper for like the front and the back, and like put cardboard and like make these books. And I mean, I was 5 at the time, like barely 5, like I barely made the cutoff for my grade. And it was so cool that she let me sit there and I loved creating. I loved thinking, using my imagination and telling the story. And then I loved bringing the story to life with the pictures, because what kid doesn't like pictures, you know? And then from there, went on to just more like poetry and writing. And then I always excelled like at English. And then art classes came into play, and I loved drawing. And then we got a piano for my grandma when I was about 9. And then the rest was history.
I can understand loving art because I'm an actual horror art freak. Love horror art.
Yeah.
Absolutely eat it, breathe it, sleep it. If I could afford every bit of it, I'd buy everybody's paintings. But, you know, I don't make that type of money. But
yeah. Art is expensive. I have a bunch of art at my house, too. I love art.
What are some of City of the Week's goals that you would like to see this band accomplish?
You know, I want us to keep doing what we're doing. I mean, it's kind of the era of the working musician. It's not really the era of the mega star like it was in the 80s. So I try and be realistic about our goals and what we're doing. I just want us to tour, and I want us to grow and have reasonable growth in what we're doing. And our goals are to just, you know, eventually be playing arenas and stadiums consistently and headlining and playing to thousands of people every night and going worldwide. And I'd love to be playing like sold out shows in Japan and Australia and the Philippines and just connecting with people all over the world. I never want to be the band that just is like $1,000 to meet me. Like, we always want to be at our merch table, want to be talking to everybody. It makes us feel alive when we get to meet people and, you know, have them be a part of our lives.
Yeah, like I said earlier, you know, when you make that connection with the fan, that stands out to us tremendously.
Well, they stand out to us. I mean, that like hearing people's stories and hearing how we inspire them, like, it makes us want to do it more. I mean, that's our fuel. Like, I mean, that's what we do.
Folks, this Saturday, April 7th, Fayetteville, North Carolina, the Drunk Horse Pub with Echo Black, The Scars Heal in Time, In Loving Memory, Turn It to 11 tour kicks off. So, Steph, let's talk about this a little bit. This is going to be a quite little run for you guys.
Yes, it's going to be, we haven't done a run this long. It's been probably like 6-7 months since we went out on tour. And yeah, we packed it in pretty tight. Only a couple of days off for the entire like 31 days. So, but we are no strangers to hard work, and we're excited to be playing every single night and doing our thing.
Folks, their new album, well, debut album, I should say, comes out June of this year. So you want to stay tuned, keep in touch with City of the Week, and be sure to check out their music, pick this up, support this band. They have some really great music that's out there. Steph, how can folks stay in touch with you guys, buy some merchandise, tour dates, tickets? How can they do that?
Yeah, so you can go to our website, cityoftheweek.com. You can also reach out to us on social media. We are very active on our Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. If you comment on something, we most likely will respond. It'll probably be with a GIF, like The Office or Parks and Rec. Those are our favorite. But for real, if you have any real questions, I mean, you can always comment on things or tag us and we'll most likely see it. We try and follow along as best as we can, and or, you know, our contact information for any professional inquiries are going to be on our website, cityoftheweek.com, and, you know, any other content, you can just Google us or YouTube us and find us on Spotify and iTunes. Anywhere you find music, we'll probably be there.
Before I let you go, would you care to do a promo for the show?
Sure. Alrighty. Hey guys, it's Stef with an F from City of the Week, and you're listening to BODS Mayhem Hour.
Everybody stick around. We got some great music coming up, and you only hear these interviews right here on BODS Mayhem Hour and BODS Mayhem Radio Network. Thank you so much, Steph.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Now you're the golden.